Very good morning, aspirants. This is me, Aspen Gill, presenting to you the PIB MCQs of 5th of January. So you can follow all these videos on this particular link of an academy, and you can also rate and review the course. And how can you do so? Right now, the course for PIB January MCQs is not yet live. So just go on PIB December MCQs, and once you just search PIB December, you'll come across an MCQ course. So under the MCQ course, under review section, you can write your review as well as give star ratings. So let's begin. Firstly, with a couple of instructions, do watch yesterday's PIB summary, and once you do attempt all these questions, do mention your scorecard. So beginning with the first question, which among them is true? A. ISRO has recently planned to launch close to 80 satellites in one go. B. This is done via PSLV. C. All the satellites would be indigenous satellites, thus promoting Digital India as well. D. The highest number of satellites launched in single mission till now is done by USA. So we know ISRO is moving towards a record now. So looking at the correct options here, the first one is wrong. Because why it is wrong? See, earlier it was planned to be some around 83 satellites, but right now it is close to 103 satellites. Coming back, yes, it will be done by PSLV, also known as Workhouse of ISRO. And if you look at C, all satellites would be indigenous. No, this is wrong. It is, in fact, there are certain foreign satellites as well. And if you look at D, highest number till now is not achieved by US, rather by Russia. So here we have only B as the correct option. Next, which among them is true of maternity benefit scheme? A. It is a conditional cash transfer scheme. B. It provides cash for wage loss as well. C. Kerala is right now the only state that provides universal cash assistance to BPL, that is below poverty line, pregnant women. So looking at the correct options here, well, if you look at the A and B part of it, we did it in PIB, that is the conditional cash transfer scheme, and also it compensates wage loss during pregnancy. If you look at option C, right now the state that provides universal cash assistance to BPL is not Kerala, rather it is Tamil Nadu. So we here have only A and B as the correct options. Going to next question, which among them is true of model code of conduct? So we know in various of the states now a model code of conduct has been implemented by Election Commission of India, because elections are approaching, and in that context the question stands important. So options here are A. MCC is governed by appropriate statutes at central and state level. B. When MCC comes into force, ongoing projects come to a standstill. C. It bars combining official visits with campaigning. D. No financial grants can be announced when MCC is in force. So looking at the correct options here, the first one is wrong. Why? Because see, MCC is not at all governed by any statute. They are mere guidelines by Election Commission of India. And if you look at B, MCC comes into force, ongoing projects come to a standstill. No, this is wrong. Why? See, because projects which are already ongoing do not come to a standstill. Rather, new projects and their coming up is prohibited. Now, if you look at C, yes, it bars combining official visits with campaigning, and D is also correct. No new financial grants, etc., or no new inaugurations of projects, etc., can be done. So hereby we have only C and D as the correct option. Also, do mention in the comment section before the polls, how long before the polls is the model code of conduct usually, I would say, implemented or started. Next, which is true of these? A. Elections to state legislatures are conducted by State Election Commission. B. Part 14 of the Indian Constitution deals with election. C. Election Commission is also an advisory body. So looking at correct options here, the first one is wrong. Why? Because see, elections to parliament, state legislature, president, etc., they are all conducted by Election Commission of India and not State Election Commission. State Election Commission is a mere body. It actually has the mandate of controlling the elections to panchayats, local bodies, etc. So this one is wrong. Also, do mention in the comment section in which article or via which amendment did we have the provision of State Election Commission. Was it always in the constitution, or did we bring it afterwards? So if you look at option B, Part 14, no, it is Part 15th which deals with election. Do mention in the comment section what does Part 14th deal with. If you look at option C, Election Commission is also an advisory body. Yes, absolutely true. It usually advises president while disqualification of candidates, etc. So we have here only C as the correct option. Next, which tech company, which technology company has come up with an idea of conducting workshops across India via its app known as Primer? Microsoft, Qualcomm, Google, Yahoo. And well, this has been a recent news. Only yesterday, one of these tech companies decided to conduct workshops explaining the benefits of digital India, etc. And this is done via its app known as Primer. And well, the correct answer to this question is Google. So Sundar Pichai has collaborated into it, and this app is available on iOS as well as on Android. Next, APJ Abdul Kalam, the People's President, is a recent book which is penned or written or authored by SM Khan, Soli Saurabh, YS Rajan, Arun Tiwari. And it is only yesterday that this book was penned down and it was released. So the correct answer to this question is A. SM Khan, who was also President's press secretary. Next, which among them is true? A. Around 100 kilometers of Bhagirathi river has been notified as an eco-sensitive zone by Uttarakhand government. B. This notification prohibits any sort of hydroelectric power projects on it. C. Both of them are correct, or D. None of them is correct. So we had done this concept of eco-sensitive zone, right, in our PIB highlights very few days back when we did that. There's an eco-sensitive zone which has come up around Sanjay Gandhi National Park. So that is something similar which is being done here. So looking at the correct answer, the first one is absolutely correct, around Bhagirathi, which in fact further goes on to form Ganga. So this has been notified as an eco-sensitive zone by Uttarakhand government. But if we look at option B, it is not any sort of hydroelectric power projects that are prohibited. Rather, it's only hydroelectric power projects which are greater than 2 megawatt which have been prohibited. Plus, even mining is prohibited in the area. So we here have only A as the correct option. And why this is in news? See, because the Water Resource Ministry has recently consulted or asked NGT, that is National Green Tribunal, to change this and come up with a new master plan related to eco-sensitive zone. Next, which among them is true? A. Saab, or you may pronounce it as SAAB. It is an automobile company of USA. B. Its Gripen is in race to supplement Rafale fighters in medium weight category. C. Strategic partnership model in defense calls for going for a nuclear based offensive strategy. D. The model was proposed by Dhirendra Singh Committee. So even this is in news. Why? Because the projects are not being able to pick up in defense sector, and we'll understand why. So looking at the correct answer here, the first one is wrong, because this particular company, automobile company, is of Sweden and not of US. Yes, its aircraft is Gripen, which is actually in a race. There are 3 or 4 competitors, and 2 of them are from US, F-16s and F-18s. They are by Lockheed Martin and Boeing. So yes, they are also in competition for what? To supplement Rafale fighters in medium weight category. So B is correct, A is wrong. If you look at C, strategic partnership model was something which was proposed last year in defense procurement policy or procedure. So what it said was that government will have to collaborate with private defense companies or private companies which can actually help in defense manufacturing. So it has nothing to do with nuclear offensive strategy. This is wrong. If you look at D, yes, this model was proposed by Dhirendra Singh Committee, the very committee which came with the recommendation of defense procurement policy or procedure. Also, do remember that this model actually goes for a long-term collaboration with private firms. For example, say a company like L&T, Larsen and Tobruk gets the contract, right? Now, it will be making all the contracts for a particular weapon, for example, or a particular system, for example, submarines, for a lot many years. So that is the whole idea. It's a long-term collaboration, and people, there have been criticisms from certain wakes of life which pertains to that. Okay, this will result into crony capitalism. So hereby we have B and D as the correct option. Next, what is true of them? A, it is mandatory. It is not actually mandating. It's mandatory for candidates contesting state elections to declare their source of income. B, it is mandatory to tell the income of spouse and dependents as well. C, present affidavit allows voters to have the PAN details of candidates, his spouse and dependents. So quickly coming to the options there, the first one is wrong. Why? Because it only is mandatory to mention the actual amount of income. It is not mandatory that the source of income be also given. So this is Election Commission's recent play which says that source of income should also be given in the affidavit. If you look at B, yes, the exact income amount of spouse as well as dependents has to be given, and so is C correct. Voters have the right to PAN details of candidates, spouse and dependents. So we here have B and C as the correct option. Next and last question, which among them is true of Indian rhino? A, they are herbivores. B, Indian rhino helps in seed dispersion. C, rhino is primarily poached or hunted for its horn. D, rhinos mainly are found in groups. E, Pabitoran Wildlife Sanctuary is located in Sikkim. So we will quickly go through them. The first one is absolutely correct. B is also correct. They help in seed dispersion, and a very amazing way of seed dispersion. Do look it in the next slide. And C, primarily posed for its horn, yes, which is actually believed to possess medicinal property. D, they are not found in groups, rather they are solitary creatures. And E is also wrong because it is in Assam. So do check upon this. And that's it for today. Thank you.